Hi, my name is Shirley, and I want to tell you how I got into herbs. I was very unhealthy, I was overweight, and I could not have children. And in Indianapolis, where I was from, I went to the specialist. There was like 1,000,000 people there during that time. And he said, you'll never be able to have children because you do not ovulate all the time. I ovulated sometimes, but not all the time. And so he just had me on all kinds of pills, but it didn't work. And so when we went to Alaska, my husband was teaching at Bible school. I just put my whole energy into reading the Bible and going to Bible school. Well, my husband had went caribou hunting, and he came home, and everybody on the campus had the flu. And so I thought I had got it because I was so sick. I thought I was going to die, and I even wrote him a letter, and I still have it. And this was back in 1975. Yeah, 1975. What dress to bury me in, because I was so sick. I had never been this sick in my whole life. And here my husband walked in with this raw caribou in his hands, and he said, honey, I need some help. I need you to help me with this hamburger. I went, oh, I'm dying. And I said, rebuke what's inside of me. He looked at me and he stopped praying for me, and he said, you're pregnant, go to the doctor. I said, I can't be. He said, you are. And so anyway, when I finally called and made a doctor's appointment in Homer, there was only a 7-bed hospital. So they got me in, and I was pregnant. And what they did is the guy that checked, it was a rabbit back then, he said, do you want to abort because you're 30 years old? And I said, no, God gave me this. Then when I went to the nurse, and she's the one that told me, I confirmed it that I was pregnant, she said, do you want to abort it? You're 30. I said, no, God gave me this one. And when I was paying, I think it was $20 to go for the check, they said, do you want to make another to abort it? I said, no, God gave me it. So 3 times I remember them wanting to abort my child. And so I went home, and that next morning when I was walking up, it was a big long hill we had to walk up to go to Bible school, because we live in a small two-room duplex down the bottom of the hill. And when I was walking up, 2 of the young boys, they was in their 20s, they stopped and they said, how are you, Shirley? I said, well, I'm fine. They said, when you going to have the baby? And I said, I haven't told anybody. How did you know? They said, because we know your husband. If you were sick, he would lay hands on you and pray for you. He said, and we seen when he was cutting all that meat up, he told you to go see the doctor. So we knew you had to be pregnant. I went, whoa. And so anyway, I went 7 weeks after I graduated. I had my first child, and long labor, because I didn't have pushing sensations, but I only had gained like 24 pounds, so I did pretty good. And after 10 months, my husband was asked to go to this church in Anchorage, so he went, and he was in Bible school, and I had got pregnant again, and I lost that one because I had cleaned the oven, and I was trying to learn about health, and I thought I knew about health, but it had chemicals, and anyway, I aborted the baby, and so the next time I got pregnant again, and my husband was offered a church, small town, and so we moved out there, and let's see, the baby was due in July, and we moved in January. And it was 100-mile winds and all that stuff, but the main gist of it is I was not taking care of myself like I did with the first one. And I was not feeling good. I was gaining more weight, and nothing was going right with me. So I knew I had to learn more about health. And so after the day that I had the doctor's appointment, my daughter was 4 years old. She ran out in the middle of the street, and she was chasing her dog. And I ran after her and spanked her once, and I told her never to run out. She knew not to go out in the street, but she did it anyway. Well, anyway, what happened was my blood pressure went so high that when I went to the hospital, doctors, they sent me to the hospital. They said, we're going to bring the baby on now because your blood pressure is running so high. And so it was running so high that they said they wanted to give me a shot because she was due July the 19th, and it was already July the 25th. And they said, they gave me the shot, and they said, you'll probably have it about at 3 o'clock the next day. Well, I went from 0 to 10 in 10 minutes, and the nurses laughed at me. They said, we just checked you, you're 0. I said, here she comes. And my husband was there, and he held the baby's head while she was just coming. She had, I would say it was a Zoom delivery. And it was hurting so bad that I just said, let me get up and I want to go home. I want to forget about this because it hurt me so bad because it burnt all the way down as she was going down. But as she went down, she came out and she's the most beautiful baby I've ever seen. And Stoney held her and cut the cord. And then that's when I knew that I had to know more about health. And I got more and more into herbs. And when I got more into herbs, I started losing weight. My health got better. Everything just turned around for me when I started doing what I was supposed to be doing instead of doing what I thought I should be doing.